are listening to Dream Boston, a new series of audio plays powered by the Huntington Theater Company. Dream Boston offers glimpses of the future, hopeful, full-hearted, and complex. A vision of our city that is somewhere between dream and reality. This play is set on the steps of Harvard Memorial Church. The date is May 25th, 2023. The title of this play is The View from MemChurch.
Are you going to the class lunch?
Are there enough of us left to fill a table at Adam's house?
I have an extra ticket. I bought it a month ago for my son, but he decided to go with his friends to the Cape instead.
You'd give me a $150 ticket? It's very nice of you, but I hate that sort of thing. The last time I went to an alumni dinner, which must have been over 10 years ago, everyone was super nice to me. Being one of 3 Asians in a class of 250 women, everyone knew my name. I didn't know anybody's name. They all look alike to me.
I remember everybody's name.
Because you never left Cambridge. You came to Harvard at 18 as a freshman and never left until you retired from the physics department at 70. What was that? 15 years ago?
I still belong to the Harvard Black, Latin, Asian American Alumni Alliance.
And I'm secretary of the Bloomington branch of the Raging Grannies. So, do you still live in that impressive house off Brattle?
I do.
Huh.
Nobody thought I'd stay there after Mary died, but I never warmed to the idea of a retirement home. My friends at Brookhaven really suffered during the pandemic. They said it was like being locked up in a high-end prison or marooned on a luxury cruise liner. Besides, the children always come up for the holidays, and every Wednesday my grandson Matt abandons his friends at Adam's house to have dinner with me.
That's odd, but nice.
He's a complicated child. You'd like him. So, how's life these days in Bloomington?
I'm still living in my 3rd floor walk-up with my Bosendorfer upright and my old cat.
That's the way I feel these days. Like an old cat.
They said they'd pay for my plane fare if I played a piece in the early morning concert. I stopped playing in public years ago, but I thought, why not? I might never see the courtyard of the Fogg Museum again.
You really tore into that Mozart sonata. You played the beginning so fast. You reminded me of you, Jawan.
If only I had dressed the part. It's too bad I messed up the beginning of the 2nd movement.
Oh.
These days, I trip on the keyboard because I don't pick up my fingers. The same way I trip on the sidewalk because I don't pick up my feet.
Wasn't that the same piece you played for our commencement back in 1960?
Oh, it's amazing you remember that.
The same piece in the same location.
Except the courtyard used to be more subdued and elegant, right? Now the new glass ceiling opens up to the sky, and there's that huge mobile of heavy steel triangles hanging from the girders. I was worried it might suddenly come crashing down on my head.
I can see you're in need of a warm lunch.
You're the one who must be ravenous after that inspired reading of the psalm you just delivered in MemChurch. You look quite distinguished behind the pulpit.
The class of 1960 seems to be highlighting their Asian contingent this year, just as they highlighted their black contingent last year. The part of the ceremony I always like best is the way we file out by class. The young ones first, then the middle-aged, then the old, and the very old. Like waves going down the river of time.
That sounds like something you've said before. Did you see the plaque they put up with the names of everyone who died in the pandemic? It's so nice to be still alive and out in the sun, in the fresh air. There must be 1,000 chairs filling up the yard between MemChurch and the Widener Library. So many people milling about.
You should have been here 3 years ago. My poor granddaughter graduated that year. She wanted me to accompany her for a last walk through the yard. We had our sandwiches right here, sitting on the steps of MemChurch. There was no one else in the yard except for a couple of wild turkeys. And all of a sudden, a group of 30 or more Japanese schoolgirls came trooping into the yard. They were in their school uniforms, white blouses and blue skirts. They sat across the yard from us on the Widener steps while their guides took pictures of them. It was as if we were in another country.
An Asian country. Harvard's worst nightmare come true.
That's what my granddaughter said. And look at the scene today. Asian families everywhere. Uh-oh, look what's coming through the gates. The Harvard Marching Band. Oh, they'll start playing soon, which means we've got to get moving.
Why? I love the marching band.
Well, since you refused to go with me to lunch at Adam's house, I'll take you to dim sum instead.
You can't throw away $300. Besides, where can we get dim sum?
In Chinatown, of course. Now that they've created not one, but 2 high-end malls in Harvard Square, you'd think there'd be at least one good Chinese restaurant with dim sum, but of course not. During the pandemic, that was one of the things I hated most. 4 months without dim sum.
How'd we get there?
I can hardly walk, but I'm still driving. My grandson says I drive more like a teenager than an 85-year-old man. Do you remember the last time I drove you to Chinatown? We were both sophomores.
That was a scary ride and a disastrous date.
I want to make it up to you. Hurry, hurry. The band's about to start playing and we'll get caught in the crush. Here, grab my arm. That's right. My trusty cane can support the 2 of us. Let's leave all these lovely people, all this pomp and circumstance. Let's grab some food we really love in a place that reminds us of home.
You're forgetting we're Japanese, not Chinese.
Not to worry. We'll pass. Besides, it's one big noisy family at the China Pearl. One for all and all for one. Everyone passing round the bamboo baskets and checking out the rolling carts for soup, dumplings, turnip cakes, and chicken feet.
Yum, warm egg tarts and coconut balls.
The maitre d' is an old friend of mine. She'll seat us by the window. Both mellowed, right? Since our sophomore year? We'll start all over again.
Thank you for listening to Dream Boston. where local playwrights imagine locations, landmarks, and their friends in a future Boston when we can meet and connect in our city. The View from MemChurch is written by Rosanna Yamagiwa Alfaro. Rosanna graduated from Radcliffe in 1960. She still misses having coffee at the Pamplona and roast beef sandwiches from Elsie's on the banks of the Charles. The View from MemChurch is directed by Caley Chase, sound designed by Valentine Frank, and line produced by Rebecca Bradshaw. The play is performed by Emily Kuroda and Alberto Isaac. To hear more audio plays from Dream Boston, visit huntingtontheater.org. You can also sign up for virtual classes in our Huntington at Home School series and learn more about future productions at the theater. If you enjoy Dream Boston, please subscribe to us on Apple Podcasts or wherever you found this series. The Huntington Theater Company encourages you to support your local theater wherever you may be dreaming. To support the Huntington, please go to our website, and thanks for listening.